Hello guys, welcome to Wetlines again. One of our viewers has asked us about a drag system on our reels. Sorry, I got distracted by some ducks there. And so we decided to take this opportunity, while it's a bit slow to be honest, what we think he's asking us. So, there are two different types of reels. The ones that I fish with are Shimano bait runners, and they have a 2 clutch system, so I don't have nothing on top of my reel, it's all done at the rear end. There's also a quick clutch system, which is what Baker has got, and I'll go into that in depth in a minute. So at the moment we'll stick with the bait runner Shimanos. Basically, with a clutch drag system, the clutch does it for yourself, and you play with it basically while you're catching the fish. With a bait runner, the 2 system bit, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a bit that twists, and I've also got a back bit that I can twist. So, when I have put my rod on my buzzer system and I am initially fishing, I put this system up. So when I wind in my reel, clicks down, and that is then when that is coming to that setting, I then play with that to play the fish. So depending on how you fish is how you have these tight or loose. So I'll go back to the part where if you was on the rod rest, have that up, and that bit, because what it does, if I pull that, it's really loose, crazily loose. I can then tighten that bit up, which is initially for the fish take, to as tight as I want. So you can see it's a lot more harder to pull. That is a form of drag system of when the rod is on the rod pod waiting for the fish. Once I've caught the fish, well, I've took the fish, I've hooked into it, I then initially wind in literally a quarter of a time, you feel it go tight, and then that is another drag system for when I'm playing the fish. I can have this tight or as loose as I like, depending on how big the fish is, because the big fish is a big fish and it's trying to take line. If you let him take it, because that'll go really easy, or as I went the wrong way, or less or more, and it goes even harder. So I can literally go to more, and that is like almost impossible to pull. So it's getting harder every time. So that is a drag system for bait runner, but it depends on what fish you're playing, big or small, as to how tight or loose you want that. There's no point having it really loose and you've got a big fish, because all it's going to do is literally bugger off into the wilderness and you won't be able to get nothing, because it'll just be so go loose. You'll just pull and pull, and you'll never. And as soon as you be fighting, even though you'll be winding in, the fish will still be swimming away. That's when you go, oh, at least a big fish. I'll tighten it up a bit. Where's my line gone? And then it gets harder. And the same is when you've got it back on your rod pod. Say you want that. If you want the fish to literally take it initially quite a bit, so like free run with it before you grab it, you have that really loose. The only problem with that is you'll lean lightly to get up in the reeds if you're not on your rods quickly catching the fish. So I tend to have it roughly in the middle, so I can sort of judge it and then see how I want it to feel basically till I wind in. But I'll go into that more detail of when I show you how to set my buzzers up, because that's sort of what it's made for. The drag system is basically just when you've got a fish on, if you want it tight or loose, depending on the size of the fish, then you can play it accordingly to suit your leads. Right, then moving on to Baker's reels, which are a quick drag system. What that means is all your drag is done at the front, and you've actually only got one bit of movement to play with, as you can see. Now, I'm not clued up what way you need to turn these ones, but initially what you're basically doing is when you go to cast out, you put it to its tightest system, cast out, you give it a few winds back, so I'm going to help where Baker had it set, about there roughly, which means the fish can take the line again. Also, you can change this to how tight you want it, to if the fish wants to get caught before it goes, or you do it on the take. It's up to you how you fish. But make sure when you go to pick your rod up and take the fish, you wind it up nice and tight, knock it, and then you release it to play with it, because you don't know how big the fish is. So that way you're using the clutch system in your reel to play the fish. Because what the clutch system basically does is, when you're winding in, if the fish is really struggling and he wants to go, it will still allow you to let the fish go without you doing it, hopefully snapping your line or making the hook come out its mouth. So these are a lot more simpler because it's only on one, but probably a little bit fiddly for some if they forget that you've got to play with it before you pick it up, where the bait runners probably simpler because it comes in with the click, you wind in and have your settings already made up on it automatically, it remembers it, so as soon as you wind in it will go back to the plain fish setting. But again, it just depends on how big the fish is, if you want to quickly adjust it or not while you're fishing. And then I'll move over now to show you how I set up my buzzers, hopefully make it a bit more sense for you. Right, we're moving on to how to set up your buzzers. So I'm going to start with the basics. It might sound stupid, but have the lights pointing to you. The fish don't need to see what lights they are, you need to see them, not the fish. When you screw them onto your rod pod or whatever system you're using, have them looking at yourself. Right, so I've cast out, new bait, all that lot. I'm going to wind in now, so my line goes tight. I want to be friendly, leave it off the buzzer for a minute because you don't want it going off. Once it goes tight, get your bailiff arm when your line comes off to the top of your reel. I'm going to get my bobbin, clip it onto the line. And I'm going to stick my line actually through the buzzer itself, and then I'm going to stick my bait runner up. That means I'm now initially fishing, and that is tending how tight I want that, it's how I want the fish. So I'm going to leave that like it is. When it goes off, with obviously the bait runners, lift your rod up, start winding, the other clutch system will then click in, which is your drag, and that is what you play with for when you've got your big fish on, depending how big or small the fish is. So you've got your buzzers, your rod, your reel, system all set up, ready to go, hopefully a good session of fish. Remember guys, keep those lines wet.